I was once the light they followed, the land they reached for, the name whispered on ships, prayed over by tired hands crossing oceans. I was the dream, the promise, the sacred soil of second chances. But somewhere in the noise, you stopped hearing me. Somewhere in the progress, you left me behind. You forgot about me. And now, I'm dying. I don't die like a man dies. Not suddenly, not all at once. I fade. I fracture. Piece by piece. I die when a factory shuts down, its gates sealed like a coffin. When a teacher gives up after the system fails her, one too many times. I die when a child grows up without wonder. When he learns to shoot before he learns to hope. I die when veterans sleep in cold alleys, as billionaires race to touch the stars. I've felt the sickness for years, like a quiet decay beneath the paint. It started slow, a crack in a sidewalk, a closing diner, a silence in church pews that used to overflow. Then came the rage. And now, the forgetting. Do you remember who I was? I was jazz pouring through Harlem windows, dust rising behind civil rights marches, steel beams soaring over New York skies. I was soldiers bleeding in faraway jungles, not for conquest, but for something they believed in, something called liberty. I was the silent nod between neighbors, different in color, but united in country. I was not perfect. God knows I never was. But I tried. I bent toward justice. I reached for better. And now I wonder, do you even want better anymore? You trade me for convenience. Trade community for clicks, truth for tribes, and dignity for division. I see you fight over flags, not what they mean, just how they're used. You argue over statues, while the souls beneath them are forgotten. I see you scream at screens, shouting past each other, as if volume were virtue. But I remember a time when disagreement didn't mean destruction, when neighbors debated, then shared coffee after. I remember when we the people meant something. Do you? Now I walk through rusted towns where hope used to live. I pass broken windows covered in slogans. Slogans written by people who've stopped believing. In the Midwest, I see mothers choosing between food and medicine. In Appalachia, I watch kids inhale escape through pipes. In the South, I feel the heat of old wounds still bleeding. On the coasts, I hear ambition, but not unity. And in the silence between all of you, I hear mourning. You don't say it out loud, but you miss me. You miss who I was. I am the fields where your grandfathers labored, the shipyards where your uncles built giants, the libraries your mothers cleaned, the storefronts your sisters owned, the land your ancestors bled for, even when it never loved them back. I carry their memory, all of them, the proud, the broken, the brave, the forgotten. But memory alone won't keep me alive. You once wrote poetry about me, painted murals on brick walls in my honor, died for me. Now I'm a trending topic, a brand, a battleground. You forgot the soul of me, the slow dance of democracy, the dusty smell of old paper ballots, the way communities stood up for one another without hashtags or headlines. You forgot that I was always an experiment, delicate, daring, and unfinished. And experiments can fail. Do you know how it feels to be a ghost in your own land? To be the name on every politician's lips, but not in their hearts? To watch your youth lose faith in you, and your elders quietly weep at what you've become? I know that feeling, because I feel it every day, but I still remember. I remember the songs, the way soldiers sang them in muddy boots and trembling voices. I remember the protests, the fists raised in peace, the tears on bridges, the blood that watered change. I remember Thanksgiving tables with too many opinions and just enough grace. I remember when we held each other, not because we agreed, but because we belonged to each other. Do we still? Or have we forgotten even that? You tell me you love freedom, but do you remember what it costs? Freedom isn't noise. It isn't chaos. It isn't who shouts the loudest. It's the quiet courage of service, the discipline of dialogue, the humility to be wrong. And I've watched that die, inch by inch. You worship wealth and call it progress. Worship opinions and call them truth. Worship vengeance and call it justice. But I was never meant to be worshipped. I was meant to be served, to be cared for, to be challenged. Yes, but never abandoned. I don't ask for perfection. I never did. I only ever asked for belief. In each other. In tomorrow. In me. But belief is fragile. Like stained glass. And right now, I'm shattered. The cracks run deep between races, classes, generations. You used to call them differences. Now you call them enemies. You forgot how to listen, how to forgive, how to mourn together. And now I wonder, will you remember too late? There's still time. Not much, but some. You could still save me. Not with politics, not with pride, but with care, with action, with humility, with the simple decision to look at your neighbor and see a fellow American, not a threat, to raise your child to love truth more than power, to honor sacrifice more than celebrity. You could still turn back, still rebuild, but it won't be easy. Resurrection never is. So I leave you with this. I was your home, your mother, your forge, your fight, your flawed, beautiful, unfinished dream. You forgot about me, and I've been dying ever since. But if you remember me, truly remember, I might just survive. And we might just become something worth believing in again. America isn't dead. She's waiting to be remembered. Let me know if you'd like this broken into scenes or visual prompts for AI/video editors. Or if you want a voiceover style formatted version too.